Alright, sorry about the background noise, but I'm at the junkyard because if you're watching this, you've tried to get off the connectors to your your position to O2 sensors on a Toyota Camry or Avalon 2005 through 2012, at least on the Avalon. I don't know about the Camry. These particular connectors here are obviously off of the car. This came off of a 2009 Toyota Camry. Just so you understand the orientation, if you were looking at the front of the car, the passenger headlight would be over here, and the driver headlight would be over here. This is mounted, as you probably already know, on top of, I think it's what's called the subframe. And this is where the the O2 sensors go to, connect into the system, basically. So these are the O2 sensor side. 99% sure, but don't, double check me on this. This is for the position 2, and this is for the position 1. Now, the thing that got me to go to the junkyards, because I tried like heck to get either one of these out, and I just couldn't, and I didn't want to break it, so I went to the junkyard to sort of see if I could figure out how to get it off. Anyways, long story short, and then the other thing is, what does this look like back here? So just so you have an idea, these are held on. Oops, sort of gave away the story of that, but these are held on here. This is held stationary. But just to show you this, well, I'll show you afterwards. So to get these off, just literally, it's going to be very hard. You push that in. You don't have to worry about any connector on the back. That's why I came to the junkyard, because I was worried about a connector on the back. You push that in, and I'll slide them both out in a second, and you just push that in. Okay, you don't have to do it at the same time, pull them out separately. Yeah, so just to summarize, these are pre-loosened here. These are obviously off the car, but to show you, all you have to do, it sounds a heck of a lot easier than I think it's actually going to be, is you have to depress this. It takes some effort. And then these just slide out. That's what the inside looks like. I think this is bank 1, I think, but you double check that. And at least on an 08 Avalon, I think it is. And then same goes up here. There is nothing on the back of the switch, so it just pulls out, and it looks like that on the inside, if that helps you. Just push those middle buttons in, and it's not easy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's rough. So, and this slides out, but you got to wiggle and make sure this thing is fully pressed in, because essentially you have that little latch there. I'm trying to make it move. It's on the left side of your screen. Don't know if you can see it, but there's a little latch that's moving in and out when I push it. This thing will not come out unless you push that button in. Another thing I wanted to point out is how these are attached. So the top one is attached to, I guess, the frame or whatever that part is hanging off the frame by this thing, okay? By that thing. And this, the top one, was broken off on the junk car I took it off of, so I can show you a little bit about what goes on back here. If it's broken, this one's stationary, it's clipped on there. This thing, oops, this will just slide off if you happen to break it. Hopefully you won't, and that'll show you how this thing's broken. But you'll be able to see back at the end of this wire by the bottom of my finger over here. You can see that it sort of clips in. My theory is that, I don't know for sure, but if you see that little space way down there, if you were able to get a tiny screwdriver in there, I think you could probably unclip this female portion and slide it out. But I don't know. You'd slide it out like this. I think that that at the end of my finger right there is broken. So just an FYI. So I'm shooting this in reverse, and you know, I don't have a stand. So what you're looking at is a pair of right angle long pliers. That white thing on the tip is what I'll explain that later, but it's a soft touch item that I added on, sort of repurposed from something else. Anyways, this is the best way and the only way that I found. I mean, maybe other people can do it another way, but this is the best and easiest way that I found to take the switch off. To undo the bank 2 position 2 oxygen sensor, and probably the position 1 also, but right now for my purposes I'm only talking about bank 2 position 2. Anyways, like I said, I'm doing it in reverse. So they are in position. I'm going to take them down and show them to you. I've only got that soft touch, the white thing, on one part of it, so the other side can get a grip. Have to do it very gently. And here, I'll just show you the tool. I'm not sure. I mean, you can buy these in various places. I'm sure they have it on Amazon, or maybe even at Harbor Freight. I don't recall it, but maybe I wasn't looking for it because I already had them by the time I knew about Harbor Freight. Anyways, that's how I do it. I got this at Dollar Tree for actually $1.25 trees for $1.25, and I like to repurpose things. I can actually use it for both. But anyways, this little white thing, familiar, goes on the end of that right angle plier. I found them in the dish aisle. It was difficult to find them. Had to look at 4 or 5 different locations, but I don't know, you could probably go pay full price at Walmart or something like that. But like I said, I was looking in the utensil aisle, but I finally ended up finding it on the dish shelf with the dishes. So just a supplemental part of the video to help you deal if you've chosen to replace the factory with a Denso part. When I pulled it out, it totally freaked me out because the Denso part did not look at all like the factory part. If you want, you can freeze the screen and zoom in to read my notes, but I'll point them out here shortly. I'll also try to put a still in the video if I remember to. Anyways, the thing that totally freaked me out was that's the original, what the original looked like coming out of the car. That's what the Denso replacement looks like. Okay, if you look at other parts of the body of the Denso, it doesn't look at all like the original. I got so freaked out. That's what this blue part right here explains, that I called Denso Tech Support North America, and long story short, they assured me that even though it looked totally different, they would indeed work identically the same. And I did install it, and it seems to have be working fine. So there you have it. Important to note that a lot of the DIY videos on YouTube show, when they're replacing the oxygen sensors, that the part comes with a little packet of Anti-Sieze. So when you're trying to figure out if you've got actually a genuine Denso part, and you pull it out and it looks like this one right here on the left, and there's no Anti-Sieze in it, you're wondering if it's an actual real Denso part. The one on the right is a Toyota part, by the way. Anyways, just an FYI, I figured out after talking to Denso Tech Support North America that like everything else, in a cost-saving measure, I'm fairly certain that Denso's done away with those Anti-Sieze packs, and that is the whole reason for this plastic thing right here. They have pre-applied Anti-Sieze onto the threads that are underneath that plastic cover, so you just pull the cover off and screw it in. So there you have it, in case you were wondering where your anti-seize was on the Denso part. I'm sure they have old stock that will have the anti-seize packets in it, but my theory is the new stocks don't.